there, fellow readers. Mrs. Weidman here, and today we're going to be talking about the young adult science fiction novel The Loop by Ben Oliver. And this book is about a teenage boy, and his name is Luka Kane. And for the past 376 days, Luka Kane's life has been exactly the same. So he wakes up, he eats breakfast, he reads a book, he eats lunch, he goes on a run, he works out, he eats dinner at some point, and then every night he prepares for this really terrible thing called the energy harvest, right? And that's because Luka Kane is actually a convicted criminal, right? He's been accused of something, found guilty, and sentenced to life in this really notorious prison in his world called the Loop, right? And in order to kind of like help provide energy to the prison, right? Every night the prisoners are actually rounded up and they're put into these tubes, right? And basically all of their energy is sucked out of them, right? And then put into the prison to like help make it work. So it's a super terrible, scarring, emotional experience that every kid who's imprisoned in the Loop has to go through. Right? And to make things even more challenging, because Luka's been convicted of a crime, eventually one day his sentence is actually death. He knows he's going to die, right? Because he's been given the death penalty. However, the prisoners have these options of these things called delays, right? Where they can delay their sentence by basically consenting or agreeing to use their bodies in these weird scientific medical experiments that will help benefit the rest of the world. However, these weird scientific and medical experiments are experiments, so they don't always go right. And a lot of kids, like Luka's best friend, die because of these experimentations. So Luka's really resigned to his fate. He keeps accepting these delays, but he knows he shouldn't always do it, right? So he's kind of like, all right, I have a delay coming up in a couple months. Should I accept it or should I just go through with my sentence and just take the death penalty and that's it, right? What should I do? Well, then he starts hearing these rumblings during his 30 minutes outside every day. He's not allowed to actually physically interact with the other prisoners, but they can talk over the walls and stuff. And Luka hears these rumblings of a rebellion that's growing outside of the prison walls. And if the society decides to rebel, then maybe there's a chance that Luka can escape his fate and escape the Loop, even though nobody has ever done it before. So if you are super interested in sci-fi books, if you want a good prison escape story, if you want a book that has constant surprises because you're not quite sure what's going to happen and then something entirely new does, then I highly recommend The Loop by Ben Oliver as a great next read for you. See y'all online soon.